Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Organic Matters, the podcast brought to you by the Irish Organic Association. So this week we're going to do something slightly different. We are going to focus on the ACRE scheme, which is a new agri-environmental scheme. The Department of Agriculture would like to see 30,000 farmers take up the general measure and then 20,000 farmers take up the cooperation measure. Now the difference between those is that there is a higher payment rate of €10,500 in the cooperation measure in kind of the west of Ireland, we could say, in general. People can look up the map. And then in the general measure there is €7,311 is the maximum payment. But where things get interesting if you are an organic farmer is that you have priority access. Now this has been highlighted an awful lot, that organic farmers will get priority access, but there is perhaps a catch. So there are 35 measures that farmers can take up in this new agri-environmental scheme. But 20 of those measures, if you're organic, you would have to forego your organic payment. So in this podcast, we are going to go through some of the measures that organic farmers can do without losing their payment. And we are going to talk to some organic farmers as well. We're going to give them a call and see what they think of acres and what they are going to do. I will stress at this stage that we are not experts and every single farm is different. For example, my farm here in Limerick is not going to go into the measure that involves dry stone walls, because we don't have dry stone walls really in Limerick. If you go into the west of Ireland, that measure might suit you better. So please do contact your own agricultural advisor on this. This is just a general chat, so take that as you like. But first of all, I am going to very slowly and if you have a pen at the ready, you might have a pen there. I'm going to go through all of the 35 measures and we are going to list what you can do if you're an organic farmer and keep your payment, and what you cannot do if you're an organic farmer, or what you will lose your payment if you're an organic farmer and go into acres. So the barn owl nest box, which you get €36.48 per year. You could have 2 barn owl boxes, that's the maximum amount, and you are allowed to do that and keep your organic farming payment. The brassica fodder stubble, perhaps if there's some tillage farmers out there, you will have to forego your organic payment on that. Catch crops, you are allowed to keep your organic payment. Commonage, well, there aren't any organic farming payments on commonage anyway. So conservation of rare breeds. So for example, if you have Dexters, if you've Irish Moiled, if you have Drimmen, you are allowed to keep your organic farming payment for that, and it's €200 per livestock unit, or per cow essentially. The environmental management of arable fallow, you have to forego your organic payment. The coppicing of hedgerows, you are allowed to keep your organic payment. Extensively grazed pasture, you have to forego your organic payment. If you have geese and swans on your land, you have to forego your organic payment. If you have grass margins and you're an arable farmer, forego your organic payment. If you have grass margins, you're a grassland farmer, you have to forego your organic payment. The laying of hedgerows, you can keep your organic payment. Low emission slurry spreading, you can keep your organic payment. Low input grassland, you have to forego your organic payment. Low input peat, you have to forego your organic payment. Management of intensive grassland and extra water course, you have to forego your organic payment. Minimum tillage, you can keep your organic payment. Overwinter stubble, you can keep your organic payment. Planting a new hedgerow, keep your organic payment. Planting a traditional orchard up to a maximum of 10 apple trees, you can keep your organic payment. Planting trees in a riparian buffer zone, you are allowed to keep your organic payment. Protection and maintenance of archaeological monuments in arable, you are allowed, but only where your organic farming scheme payment is forgone on 0.1 hectares. Protection and maintenance of archaeological monuments grassland, you are allowed to do that and keep your organic farming payment. Riparian buffer strip for arable, you have to forego your payment. Riparian buffer strip for grassland, you have to forego your organic payment. Your riparian buffer zone arable, forego your organic payment. Riparian buffer zone grassland, you have to forego your organic payment. Ryegrass seed set for birds, you have to forego your organic payment. traditional dry stone walling, which I previously mentioned, you are allowed to keep your organic payment for that. Tree belts for ammonia capture from farmyards, you have to forego your organic payment. Tree planting, up to a maximum of 300 trees, I believe, you are allowed to keep your organic payment. Unharvested cereal headlands, you have to forego your organic payment. Winter bird food, you have to forego your organic payment. Winter bird food strip, you have to forego your organic payment. So, and then finally, so for the Acres Cooperation Project on non-commonage lands, so they're in receipt of what was called a results-based payment, and this is where you can get the higher payment of up to €10,500. So it's allowed, but the acres payment is reduced by €250 per hectare. So out of the 35 measures, like I said, only 15 of them organic farmers can keep their full organic payment and also be in receipt of a acres payment. So that's an interesting one. I will say that I am an organic farmer and I have been looking at acres, and personally I plan to discuss with my advisor perhaps planting new hedgerows, planting trees, and of course maybe some low emission slurry spreading, and then as well as that, orchards. I'm planning on planting an orchard as well. That will potentially get me up to what we had in the previous agri-environmental scheme, which was just over, I think we got €4,000 for that. So we will not be getting anywhere near the maximum of €7,311. But I personally do still feel like it's important to try to plant trees where we can, even just for the sake of planting new trees, although I have a feeling it will be a big effort, and potentially I could sit back and do nothing. But like I said, everyone is individual and everyone has their own farms, and it is worth talking about with different people. So now we are going to go to our first caller on the line. John McHugh, you're dairy farming there in Laois Acres. What do you make of it?
Look, I can't say I'm totally up to speed with what it's all about. I think there's not that much going to suit me. Potentially the rare breeds might suit me, so I'm currently waiting to have a discussion with my advisor on that. But outside of that, I don't think there's much that will benefit me on it.
Because you can get, I think, up to €200 per rare breed animal, and you have Drimmen, if I'm right.
I have Irish Miles.
Oh,
yeah,
Miles. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So,
and how there is I think there's a maximum number that you can have, though. The maximum is 20 livestock units.
Yes, exactly. Yes, yeah. And so look, I'm not sure of the full details of what conditions are required for whether they need to be purebreds or different like that. So so that's, I just need to. I've been a bit lazy and I haven't done my own research. So
there's still a bit of time. There is.
I like to leave things till the last minute. So
yes. Anything like the laying of hedgerows, the low emission slurry spreading, any of that kind of appeal to you?
Yeah, look, it's not really. I don't really have any plans to lay any hedgerows. And again, the low emission slurry to me is, look, I have my own way of spreading the slurry, I suppose. And so I know it probably might cover the cost of getting a contractor in. It probably wouldn't. It'd probably just cover the extra cost of getting a contractor with a low emission spreader. So it's not jumping out. It's not jumping out as something that really appeals to me.
Yeah. And would you have, going back to your Irish Moiled, would you have 20 of them?
I would, but they're mainly not purebreds, like, so. Okay. Yes, yeah. So I presume they possibly have to be purebreds. I don't know though.
Yeah, well, it does. There is a note. I will read you the note. It says, breeding females that produce a registered offspring above the basic eligibility requirements will be paid an additional €75 per progeny. So it does sound like they do have to be registered with a pedigree society.
Yeah. Look, and I haven't done that route, so Yeah, look, it's something that, as I said, I just wanted to look into, and I don't know whether there's time to whether it has potential or not. Yeah, it's I'm a bit last minute, as I said.
Are you kind of disappointed there? So say for example, because I worked out there were 35 measures there, and 20 of them, if you're an organic farmer, you'll lose your organic payment on them. So
Yeah, look,
that's over half.
yeah, it's extremely disappointing. Really, it's I think the story of a lot of these schemes. There's look, I suppose they're in a way they're undermining organics overall. They're it means a lot of farmers who are outside of organics, I suppose, will look at that there's a conflict in these schemes, and so they might remain outside of organics. Yeah, so it is a bit disappointing, to be honest. Yeah.
Were you in GLOS, the previous agri-environment scheme?
I wasn't in GLOS either. Again, there was none that was really going to have a huge benefit for me. Again, yes, looking at all of them, there was nothing really. The low emission slurry was the only one I think that had any real potential again, and yes, it wasn't going to, it wasn't going to bring a net kind of gain to me. And look, the nature of the slurry I have, it's very watery and there's no concentrates fed, so to me there's very little emissions from it, even relative to more intensive farms. So I don't think even the environmental benefit of using low emission slurry I think would be a lot less than relative to an intensive farm.
Yeah. Okay. I heard a little voice there in the background. I think I better leave you in peace. It must be dinner time or something.
It's playtime, I think.
Well, that's important on farms as well, definitely.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
John, thank you very much for that.
Yeah, no problem at all.
And that was John McHugh there with some of his thoughts. And now we are going to go to our second caller, who is in a different part of the country. Fergal Byrne, you are a tillage farmer, you're a turkey farmer, you have a couple things going on there. We're chatting about acres. What are your thoughts on it?
I'm after doing. I was planning on going into it, and then when I looked at the measures and so forth, it kind of went grand, and the closing date, and what I had to do, what I happened to do, was kind of went grand, and I done my figures of what I'm getting in the organic premium, with the premium going up and so we're kind of right. And what I would be maybe gaining would be maybe €2,000 or €2,500 what I would have been best I could get out of it. I didn't want to sow any more trees, and I have my hedges all kind of fairly well under control as regards laying or anything else and all that kind of stuff. Something's going to go right. And I decided then that it wouldn't. And I paid the planner and everything else, and said, well, I wouldn't have enough out of it to justify me going into it.
Okay, because there's
and now there is, and I did go to another friend of mine, and he was down with me just maybe 3 weeks ago, and he wanted to go through with him, and he left him that it was something very valuable to him, if you know what I'm saying to you, what on his farm, if you know what I'm saying to you. And there's another man who had up on 30 or 40 acres of tillage, and there was a measure on that which was very valuable to him and so forth, kind of as well, and he went to it, and he's going to it. But I didn't think I had enough of cereal to get something that was really worthwhile into it, because my thinking on it was, and as only my thinking on it was that acres would be like the gloss, and you have to get your gloss payment through before you get your organic payment. And this is a brand new scheme, and there's something with the ratings and so forth and everything else. If there was a hold up on it, you would be holding up your organic payment, if I'm saying to you. And your organic payment now at this stage is a very substantial payment, if I'm saying to you. €250 a hectare for grass ground, and 300 for the, I think it's even more for the cereal ground, so kind of like that. And why would you hold up a real good payment for a couple of €5,000.
So you were worried about, say, the legacy issue that was there before, where if people had issues with their gloss payment, which was the previous, would it hold it up? And then you were worried about it. I guess the measures didn't really appeal to you. The sums weren't adding up for you either.
The sums wasn't adding up to me for me. If you know what I'm saying, anyway, it was if you put something in, you were taking it out of organics and something.
Yeah, like Fergal, if we work out, say if we work out one of them there, like a popular one previously in gloss might have been, say, the wild bird cover that was there for farmers, but you can only do that if you forego your organic payment. So there's a lot of people there who feel like it's not worth it in that regard.
Wait, no, it's probably glasses, and it might be, if you got me at the right time, because I was able to find a piece of paper.
Always important.
Always important, is right. It was 100. The brassicas fodder crop stubble. That was 173. You could plough, or you could only do 20 hectares in that, and that was €173 a hectare.
Okay.
And you could get that with the organic payment, if you understand it anyway. And if you got 173 on top of your order payment and so forth anyway, which was reasonably good, like.
Yeah.
So, so I don't know, like that was my thing. Anyway, I didn't think it was paying me, to be honest with you. The planners, like, look at a lot of them were under fierce pressure to get organised to do it, and it's basically it's going to be it's going to be hard to get in this time. One word of it, so I decided to step back from it anyway, to be honest with you, on the acres anyway. I was the way I was looking at it as with the extra premium that we were getting from 170 to 250, if you know what I'm saying, anyway, that's another €70 a hectare, and on 50 or 60 hectares, I was getting the 5,000 one word of it.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's the way I done my sums, and it was a look at grand.
So you,
and I'll renew it. I can always review it next year, if you know what I'm saying to you.
Okay. Well, Fergal, thank you very much for that. That's excellent. Thank you.
Lovely. Yeah.
That was Fergal Byrne there with some of his thoughts. So, like we said at the beginning, please do consult your own agricultural advisor. This was just a chat. Now, some of you may be disheartened by what you have heard, but do please look up all the terms and conditions that are available. They are online. They are very easy to find, very easy to read. It is worth taking an hour one evening to sit down with a calculator. And I plan to practice what I preach. And after this, I'm going to sit down with my calculator and I'm going to work some things out for myself. There is not a huge amount of time left to apply, so you would be worth getting on board with that. Anecdotally, advisors seem to be under a lot of pressure at the minute, but working in your favour if you are in organics is, as previously mentioned, that you will get priority access. So the deadline for application is November the 21st. So you have a little less than a month to contact your advisor, chat things through and decide for yourselves what you would like to do. So that is it. This is our third podcast on acres. But for now, I am Hannah Quinn-Mulligan. There will be another podcast next week, so do please subscribe. You've been listening to Organic Matters, the podcast brought to you by the Irish Organic Association. And for more information on organics, you can visit www.irishorganicassociation.ie.